38 million Americans have diabetes. 98 million more are pre-diabetic. Most have no idea. Subscribe to this channel for new health videos, and there is one food sitting in almost every kitchen cabinet in this country that research shows can lower blood sugar, drop cholesterol, and protect your heart. Millions of people stopped eating it because someone told them it was fattening. That single piece of bad advice may be costing lives. Today I am going to show you 7 ways this food protects your body after 60. And if you're on blood thinners or diabetes medication, there is something you need to hear first. The food I am talking about is beans, legumes, lentils, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, the entire family. Before you roll your eyes, stay with me. Because what the research shows about this food is extraordinary, and most of it never makes it into a 7-minute doctor visit. Here is what I want you to understand first. A single half-cup serving of cooked beans gives you roughly 8 grams of protein, 8 grams of fiber, and only about 100 to 130 calories. The recommended daily fiber intake is 25 to 30 grams. One serving of beans covers almost a third of that in one meal. The CDC estimates that fewer than 1 in 10 Americans actually meets their daily fiber requirement. For adults over 60, roughly 60% are fiber deficient. That is not a minor nutritional gap. That is a crisis hiding in plain sight. Benefit number 7. Your gut. And I do not mean just constipation. Your gut controls far more than digestion. It influences your immune system. It communicates with your brain. It affects your mood, your inflammation levels, your risk of colon cancer. Your gut is an organ that talks to every other organ in your body. Beans contain something called resistant starch. Most starch gets broken down and absorbed in the small intestine. Resistant starch does not. It passes through intact all the way down to the large intestine, where trillions of beneficial bacteria are waiting for it. Those bacteria ferment that starch and produce a compound called butyrate. Butyrate is not just fuel for your intestinal wall cells. It does something remarkable. It switches on anti-inflammatory genes that were sitting dormant. A 2019 meta-analysis published in The Lancet, looking at over 240 studies and 4.5 million participants, found that higher fiber intake was associated with significantly lower rates of colorectal cancer. Beans are one of the most concentrated sources of the exact type of fiber that produces butyrate. Think of it this way. Imagine your gut lining is a brick wall. Over time, inflammation loosens the mortar between those bricks. Butyrate is what repairs that mortar. It seals the gaps, calms the inflammation, and feeds the very cells that keep that wall strong. Your gut produces roughly 90% of your body's serotonin, the chemical that regulates mood, sleep, and well-being. When your gut bacteria are well fed, they support serotonin production. One caution here. If you are on blood thinners like warfarin, some beans contain moderate amounts of vitamin K. That does not mean you cannot eat them. It means keep your intake consistent from day to day so your medication dose stays calibrated. Talk to your doctor before making any sudden changes. Benefit number 6, blood sugar control. And this one matters enormously if you are over 60. Nearly 1 in 3 Americans over 65 has diabetes. Another 1 in 2 has pre-diabetes. Most people with pre-diabetes have never been told. Beans have a glycemic index between 20 and 40. Compare that to white rice, which sits above 70, nearly double. The soluble fiber in beans forms a gel-like substance in your intestine. That gel physically slows the absorption of glucose. Instead of a sharp spike that sends your blood sugar rocketing up and crashing down, you get a gradual, controlled rise. Steady energy. No crash. And here is something most people have never heard of. The second meal effect. When you eat beans at lunch, your blood sugar response at dinner is better too. The benefit carries across meals. A study published in the Archives of Internal Medicine took real patients with type 2 diabetes and added 1 cup of legumes to their daily diet. Their A1C dropped by an amount comparable to some first-line diabetes medications. No pills, no injections. Food. Now I need to be direct about something. If you're on metformin or insulin, adding significant amounts of beans can enhance the blood sugar lowering effect. That sounds positive, But if the drop is too fast or too steep, you could end up hypoglycemic, dizzy, confused. Start slowly. Half a cup. Monitor your readings. Tell your doctor what you're doing so they can adjust your dosage if needed. Benefit number 5, and this is the one I want you to really hear. Beans do not make you fat. Beans help you lose weight. Let me say that again. The idea that beans are fattening is one of the most stubborn, most damaging nutrition myths going, and it has cost people years of better health. The combination of plant protein, soluble fiber, and resistant starch in beans creates one of the most powerful satiety signals your body can receive. Your stomach empties more slowly, your blood sugar stays stable, and stable blood sugar means no rebound. Hunger 2 hours later. No reaching for crackers in the afternoon. No raiding the pantry before bed. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition tracked people who ate legumes daily. The finding: they lost weight without being told to cut calories. Their bodies did it naturally, because satiety is not about willpower, it is about biology. I know what some of you are thinking, but I gained weight when I ate beans. Here is what actually happened. You gained weight because of what you ate with the beans. The sour cream, the cheese, the white rice underneath. The beans were not the problem. The beans were the one thing on that plate trying to help you. Benefit number 4. Cholesterol, and the mechanism here is elegant. That same soluble fiber binds to bile acids inside your intestine. Bile acids are made from cholesterol. When the fiber grabs them and carries them out, your liver needs to pull more cholesterol out of your bloodstream to make new bile. The result, plaupus, your LDL cholesterol drops. A review of 26 randomized controlled trials published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal showed that one daily serving of legumes reduced LDL by about 5%. 5% might not sound dramatic, but think about it this way. Over 40 or 50 years of 5% less LDL circulating through your arteries. That is plaque that never formed. That is a stroke that never happened. That is a heart attack that was never triggered. And it cost you nothing. No medication, no side effects, just food on a plate. Benefit number 3, blood pressure. Beans are rich in both potassium and magnesium. Here is why that combination matters. Potassium is the natural counterweight to sodium. It helps your kidneys flush excess salt, and it relaxes the walls of your blood vessels. Magnesium does the same thing through a different pathway. Together, they lower the pressure inside your arteries. According to the CDC, the average American consumes nearly double the recommended sodium and well under half the recommended potassium. That imbalance alone is enough to drive blood pressure up over time. Beans correct exactly that imbalance. One serving delivers a significant dose of potassium without adding sodium, assuming you do not add salt during cooking. One caution: if you are taking ACE inhibitors or potassium-sparing diuretics for blood pressure, adding a lot of potassium-rich foods can push your potassium levels too high. That can affect your heart rhythm. This does not mean you cannot eat beans. Start with modest portions and get your potassium levels checked at your next blood draw. Benefit number 2. Nutrients your body is quietly running low on. Beans are loaded with iron, folate, zinc, and B vitamins. But here is the detail most people get wrong. The iron in beans is non-Hem iron, plant-based iron, and your body absorbs only about 5 to 15% of it. That sounds discouraging until you learn the trick. Vitamin C dramatically increases non-Hem iron absorption. A squeeze of lemon over your beans. A side of bell peppers. Tomatoes on top. These are not garnishes. They are absorption multipliers. And on the flip side, drinking coffee or black tea with your meal blocks that absorption. Wait at least an hour after your bean meal before having either. One more thing on nutrition. Beans are low in one essential amino acid called methionine, but rich in lysine. Grains are the opposite. When you eat them together, rice and beans, bread and lentils, you get a complete protein profile comparable to meat for a fraction of the cost. And now benefit number 1, the one that pulls everything together. Heart health and longevity. Lower cholesterol, controlled blood pressure, stable blood sugar, reduced inflammation, better weight management, healthier gut. Each of those on its own lowers your cardiovascular risk. Beans address all of them simultaneously in one food. A landmark study called Food Habits in Later Life followed elderly populations across 4 countries for decades. The single food most consistently associated with survival was legumes. Every additional 20 grams per day, less than half a serving, was associated with a 7 to 8% lower risk of death during the study period. That is not a small finding. That is one of the most powerful longevity associations in the nutritional research on older adults. Now let me give you the practical protocol, because the details matter. Start with half a cup of cooked beans per day. Any variety works. Black beans have the highest antioxidant content. White beans have the most fiber and resistant starch. Pinto and kidney beans are excellent all-rounders. Soak them overnight, 8 to 12 hours, in plain water. Then drain that water completely and cook with fresh water. The soaking water contains the compounds that cause gas and that block mineral absorption. Draining it solves both problems at once. Use a pressure cooker if you have one. It breaks down the remaining gas-causing compounds better than regular boiling and makes the starch more digestible. Do not add salt during cooking. Season with garlic, onion, cumin, bay leaf, a pinch of turmeric. Add salt only at the end and keep it light. Pair beans with a vitamin C source at the same meal. Lemon juice, diced tomatoes, bell pepper slices. This one step can multiply your iron absorption by 2 to 3 times. Avoid coffee or black tea within 1 hour of your bean meal. The tannins in those drinks bind to the iron and carry it right past you. Week 1. Expect some digestive adjustment. More gas than usual. It is temporary. Your gut bacteria are shifting populations. The discomfort is literally the sound of beneficial bacteria multiplying. Push through it. Week 2. The gas settles. You may notice you feel fuller for longer after meals. Less snacking. Week 3 and beyond. This is where most people start to see measurable changes. Blood sugar readings stabilize. Energy evens out. Some people report better sleep. 1 cup of dried beans costs roughly 30 to 50 cents. It makes about 2 cups cooked. That is 2 full servings of protein, fiber, and minerals for less than the price of a candy bar. You do not need expensive supplements to protect your health. You need the right food. Let me bring this all together. Beans lower your blood sugar. They drop your cholesterol. They protect your heart. They feed your gut. They help you manage your weight. They deliver nutrients most older adults are quietly running low on. Today you have learned something that most people will go their entire lives without hearing clearly. Not just what beans do, but why they do it. A few important cautions before you go. If you have gout, beans do contain purines, but plant-based purines are significantly less problematic than those from red meat. Adjust your portion size with your doctor's guidance. If you are on blood pressure medication, blood thinners, or diabetes drugs, tell your doctor you are adding beans regularly. Bring up what you learned today. A good doctor will welcome that conversation. This is not about replacing your medical care. This is about adding something powerful to it. And beans, for a few cents a day, might be the most powerful addition you can make. Please subscribe to this channel. I post new videos to help you stay healthy. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself.